Welcome to another Infographic Instant with Brian Michael. In this episode, we'll be looking at whether Malaysia's Competition Commission will be more effective over time. This infographic comes from a paper where we look at the likely effectiveness of the Malaysian Competition Act. So naturally, this infographic is of particular relevance to us because if we believe the Competition Act is not effective, as many people in Malaysia's press sector, media sector argue, then we have to ask ourselves, well, what does international experience show us? How long is it likely to take before we can expect the Malaysian Competition Commission, which was newly formed in 2012, when can we expect that commission to achieve its full effectiveness? Turning our attention to the infographic, we've made a very simple plot of market power, banks' market power in different countries, and that is shown on the y-axis, and we've compared that with the years since the adoption of the competition law. So, for example, looking at the infographic, we see that countries where they have just only recently adopted a competition law, they have a very large variation in the amount of their bank's market power. And just to remind you, market power is one of the classical signals of anti-competitive behavior, because in a perfect market, companies shouldn't be having a large amount of market power, because naturally competitors will come, competition will lower the profits in any particular sector, including the banking sector, and therefore market power tends to go to zero. So on the infographic you see in front of you, 0 is the best case, perfectly competitive markets, whereas in 1 is perfectly uncompetitive. And what these data suggest, the relationship between a bank's market power and years since the adoption of the competition law, they exhibit a classical U-shaped curve. Namely, right after the adoption of the competition law, we see relatively high levels of banking industry's market power. Over time, the competition law becomes more effective, particularly through the working of law enforcement agencies and the Competition Commission, where relevant, depending on the jurisdiction. And the other part of the U relies only on two North American countries, the US and Canada. So we have to take these data with some amount of caution, but nevertheless these are jurisdictions that many other countries look to as they are designing their antitrust regime. Looking at these data, we see that the banks tend to get more market power over a very long period of time, and this probably hails to the politics of reform rather than to the effectiveness of the Competition Commission. So over a period of time, local politics will swamp out the effects of the administrative decisions taken by the Competition Commission. So if we believe these data, then the optimal time, the time at which a Competition Commission will achieve its maximum efficacy, is about 60 years after the adoption of the anti-corruption law. And if these data hold any validity for Malaysia, then we can expect the Malaysian Competition Commission to achieve its maximum efficacy in 2075. This has been another Infographic Instant with Brian Michael.